Hey, welcome back, guys. So today we have learned a little bit more about the new medal system and also the new loot system as well. So I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. So for about the last 3 days, I have had this open base, no towers really. Had two firebolt towers. I just added the two skull towers, and it had one barricade. So you'll take a look at the little defense here. It's still very, very easy to get through. I dropped down to 2,300 trophies from around 3,000. So a pretty big drop. And for the first day or so, I didn't notice anything different in the loot changes of my favorite people. And then after like day 2, I started to notice that some players were giving a lot more loot. So you see this player right here. This player used to only give like 100,000 loot because he's a very, very easy base. And his medals were very low. They were only about 25, 20 medals for a victory. Now, since it's been about 3 days, his loot has jumped up to 240, 250,000. He's also jumped up in medals as well, and that has happened to several other players. So Vert Kill 1, same thing. Well, my loot is not at maximum right now, so it should be 270 as our maximum. And same thing with him. His loot dropped down to 200,000. And now you can see it's worked its way back up. And he's also giving me a lot of medals now. Part of the fact has to do with his base is actually, designed, and he has a lot of his towers up there now. So he's actually winning a lot of defenses, which is raising his medal count up. But then another fact has to be that the game thinks I am weaker. Since I've lost probably over 1,000 defenses, you can see my defense log here. Pretty much everyone has beaten me because there was nothing really there. The wave troops were still there, but you can see almost everyone has successfully defeated me. There are a few people that have failed, sadly. But it looks like they most likely only have two spells when they attack. You see right here, these guys only have 2 spells. So they're not that strong. They're very, very low players. So yeah, so we've lost about 1,000 battles. It's been about 3 days, maybe a little bit more. And I know that for a fact because I, did this mainly around the beginning of the Diamond League. So the Diamond League is 3 days long. And I believe I also started this right before because I decided that in this 3-day period or so, I wasn't actually going to really do anything. So you can see I've fought a few times, probably about 15, 20 times now, and I've gotten 1,500 medals. And this is in the last 2 days and 16 hours. So I haven't been very active, and that's another surprising thing. Pete, the developer of Royal Revolt 2, has actually stated that if you overplay the game, your loot values and your medal values will decrease. So they don't want you to play 24/7. As crazy as that is, they don't want you. They want you to take breaks. They don't want you to be super addicted and nonstop gaming. It's not healthy for you personally. So they do want you to actually have a life outside of the game. So between the fact of not really rating, lowering my trophies, and also losing a lot of defenses, my loot has changed pretty dramatically. The game thinks I am weaker, which is very good. We'll take a look at this person. This person was giving me very, very low loot. So, again, around like 100,000. And you can see he worked his way up to 130 or so. And then all these loots aren't at the max too. So he's probably got another 30,000 or so that he can give me. And he's giving me a lot of medals, 181 medals. So, like I said, it's either the fact that the game thinks we are really, really weak, that we stayed down and had an open base for like 3 days. The fact that we haven't attacked very often helps raise our values quite a bit, because these values were very, very low before. The metal counts, they dropped down under the hundreds. Like I said, some even were into like the 20s. And then you'll notice that the stronger opponents are now giving me over 200 medals. And this is an opponent that I can sometimes win against, sometimes not. It really just depends on, the timing of my troops and the timing of my spells. So he's giving me 232 medals, a very, very high amount of medals. And here's Pete, the developer, actually. He's a fairly easy base to beat, and he's giving me 200 medals. So his base I can pretty much beat, all the time, unless he's actually radically changed his tower levels or his defenses. He was for me, a very easy base to defeat. So you can see, staying low and having an open base will actually help you, but you have to stay down there for, it looks like, 3 days or so to see some changes. And then you also do want to not attack very much. So take a little break from the game, and if you are feeling burnt out, or if your loot values are kind of crazy low and you're not getting many medals, take a break, take a 3-day break, take a tournament break, like 2 days or 3 days, and skip that tournament, drop down in the tournament, come back, refresh, relax, make an open base, and when you come back, you should see a very good increase in your favorite list. So those are some great tips right there. If I find out any more information on this, we will let you know. I do have some interesting news. They are going to be reworking, it appears, the loot system for like the top 10 players. So currently the top 10 players can't really get that much loot. They only get like 100,000 per fight from another one of the top 10 players. So it looks like they are working on a fix to increase the loot for the top 10 players. And so that right there might indirectly increase the loot for other players as well. So they might do a little minor loot increase for the higher level players. So that will be really, really cool. And they have said that will be coming either tomorrow or the next day. So sometimes this week they're going to try and do something for the super, super elite players in the top 10. And like I said, that might trickle down and actually help the lower level players some too. Not the extremely low, like level 20 or 30 players, but the ones in like the 70s or the 80s.